It's me, solo dolo this week. No Ahmed Fareed. He's still holding out for a bigger contract. He will be back next week. It's going to be a hold-in. All right, so he'll be here giving like a B-minus effort until he gets that new contract. We're in a Roquan Smith type of situation here. Oh, yeah, that's right. Chris Simms unbuttoned. Ahmed Fareed is here. The hold-in has begun. They at least gave him some new blue pants, so he said, okay, I'll come in, but there's a few other things he's got on the list today. You're looking good, my man.
Thank you.
Double duty. I mean, got a well-deserved break, so I had fun playing around with you, ditching me for a week.
Yeah.
And then yesterday you're in Cleveland for a baseball game that gets rained out.
Didn't even happen.
Late-night flight and back here and hanging with me.
Yep.
But it's good to see you back, buddy.
It's good to be back.
Good.
So the holdout.
Yeah.
It blew up in my face.
Did it? Yeah, right.
Because what I was doing, while I was holding out in Maine
chicken.
with my family, which is great, by the way. If you ever have a chance to go to, have you gone to Maine?
I've been to Maine. Yeah, I've been to Portland,
so
Maine.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like the greens are greener, the blues are bluer.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's crazy.
The air is airier.
It's like maybe that pollution that we talk about, maybe that is a thing, because in Maine they don't have that, at least where we were.
Right.
So it was awesome.
Good.
So it was great to have a week away. But I was listening to the pod.
Yep.
And so I listened on Monday to you and your dad, and I was like, "Oh, that's good."
I don't know about
that.
that.
That's good chemistry. I mean, it's just you got good chemistry because he's your dad.
Yeah,
right. You've been around
he is
him your
my
whole
dad.
life.
Right.
But I was like, okay, that's his dad. Right. He can't replicate that. And then I heard you with Matthew Berry, who I love Matthew.
Yes.
I've been following him at ESPN for a long time.
Yep.
And I was like, man, they got good chemistry together too. And I was like, okay, that's still okay because he probably can't do the pod every day. And then I heard you do it solo in the beginning of the pod.
Yes.
And that's when I was like, I got to get back.
You got to get back.
Because that wasn't bad. I was like, the way you were able to juggle it and transition from topic to topic, I was like, I got to get back just to show my relevance again.
I need you here, okay? I can. That was hard. Like, I love talking to Matthew Berry. He, matches our energy, so I feel like it just goes right, hand in hand with us. And then, doing the show, reading the questions, hosting the show, and then you know me, I'm always got notes and stuff, so I'm like, wait, reading the question, and I'm like, oh, no, did I leave something out? And, of course, I'm talking a million miles a second.
You use my question to look at your notes just to make sure that I stall for you sometimes.
Yeah, right.
So
I was stalling for myself.
Flip a couple pages there. No, but it was great. It was great listening to you on the pod. But yeah, I was in Cleveland, and while I was there, my hotel, the Westin in Cleveland, was the Eagles hotel.
Oh, okay.
And so I checked in on Saturday.
Yeah.
And right after I checked in, the entire Eagles bus pulls up. We're talking like 100+ people.
Yeah, definitely. Preseason football is a big roster.
Right into the lobby, right to the elevators.
Yes.
So I'm like, there's no way. I'm not getting up to my room anytime soon. So I just waited. I just stood there and waited.
But you sure? Did you really try again? Maybe you shouldn't, because usually with a team on the road like that, right?
Yeah.
They get in the elevators and they go to their own little special area. They don't really check in like the rest of the normal human beings that go to a hotel. So
I think they were going to their rooms.
They were going to the room. Usually, like in the NFL, when you get to the hotel, they have a table and they got your name and an envelope and your card for your room number and all that's in there, and you grab it and you can go.
Yeah.
So
I think they had given that to them already.
They
maybe.
did already. Yeah. But
so it was
a lot of people for a preseason. I mean, probably 150 people when you bring in trainers, coaches, maybe 200 people.
Saw Gardner Minshew walking in. Was a little starstruck.
Yeah, cool. Gardner balled out again.
He was good.
Definitely. Gardner is without question one of the best backup quarterbacks in football. And if, knock on wood, if something did happen to Jalen Hurts, that's one situation where I go, they're a smart team for having a good backup to protect their assets. There's a few teams out there where I go, really? Really? You're going to go in the year with that as your backup? Are you sure? And they're not one of them. He's 2 weeks in a row, really awesome.
I know, and he's fun. He's just on and off the field.
What was he dressed like?
Right?
Was he wearing blue pants or red pants?
You know what? I couldn't see the pants because he was in the middle of the whole group right there. But he had the style work, and he had just like a white T-shirt on. I was like, that's cool. He stuck out.
Yeah.
He wasn't just wearing like generic Eagles stuff.
Right.
I was trying to see our new guy Jordan Davis there too. Because I was like, how big of a human is he?
Right.
I was like, I just want to spot him. And I did spot him.
Yes.
And he's a giant human, but I think I
You overdid it in your head?
Overdid it in my head.
Right.
Like I thought there was going to be like some gigantic like elephant or
it's
something
like
that.
NBA like where you're just like, oh my gosh, this guy's 6'9". I've never seen anything like that.
I was prepared for that.
Yeah.
And he's giant.
He's
huge.
6'4", but it's more thickness that you're like, holy cow, that's a thick human being. And holy cow, his right leg's is the size of my torso or whatever.
If he was standing there ready to block me, I would be like, yes, this is
an issue.
Giant human being. But that was cool to be there. And I saw Devin Allen in the elevator too.
Cool. The big touchdown catch.
Yeah, the former track star who noticed my peacock hat and was like, "Hey, peacock, hey, the Olympics on." I was like, "Yeah, you know about the Olympics?"
My
name's Devin Allen. I was like, "Oh yes, I have heard of you."
I wonder if any of those guys have raced him yet, because they all said they wanted to race him.
Oh,
and I want to be like, you're not going to win that race.
They shouldn't.
Devontae Smith and I think who's it, Jalen Reagor. They've kind of said they wanted to race him.
Yeah.
Football fast is fast, but it's still track is like, again, they're professionals. They know how to get out of the box, like precisely measured steps. And I think that's where, maybe Devontae Smith could have been that if he decided to go down that road completely 5-6 years ago. But, I don't think he can mess with him in a race.
You put hurdles there, there's no chance.
No chance.
Like,
come on.
Crushes
that's
them.
insane.
Right? That's his specialty.
Yes, that really is. That's
maybe
insane.
without the hurdles, they might have a chance. I don't totally know. But that was cool. It was cool. I got to mix my football and baseball there. And now we get to take a look at all that happened in week 2. You've seen everything. You've seen every single play.
I've seen a lot. Really. To me, it's and full transparency here. You know me. Bears Seahawks. Did I watch the film? No, but I watched the game completely. Panthers Patriots? No, but I watched the game completely. Now Saints Packers? Film. Texans Rams? Film. Bills Broncos? Film and TV.
Ooh.
Chiefs Commanders? All the film. Steelers Jaguars? All the film. Raiders Dolphins? Mainly just Dolphins offense on film. Dolphins defense versus Raiders offense. Once some of the starters came out, I turned it off. Again, I'm trying to watch as much as I can. Vikings offense versus 49ers defense. Film. Watched it. Titans offense, Buccaneers defense. Film. Watched it. All right. So, and then Giants Bengals last night, TV, and Ravens Cardinals TV. So there we go.
Your wife is thrilled.
Well, my like, Sundays are not days off really right now.
It's football season again.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Jumping for joy.
Yep.
She has her life back. Maybe she can do whatever
She's
she
like,
wants
thank
to do
God
now.
he's off my case. Finally, get away from me.
So before we get into the week 2 reactions, we want to tell you again, because I don't believe we're up to, even after a week off, we're not up to 50,000.
I see it all over social media. Everywhere.
Get your friends to subscribe. The new YouTube page, just for NFL videos here, youtube.com/NFL on NBC. Currently at 22,000 subscribers. 22,000?
Yeah.
I feel like that rate of growth, I'm not impressed with that right now.
Well, it's all over social media. Haven't you seen? I'm being a little sarcastic, as you can tell. And can they, you have to read this. I think they give you a little respect and show your face on this damn.
Yeah, Pete says, when we get to 50,000, I'll be part of the promo.
But we won't be reading it anymore, so it'll be done. That's they're tricking you.
I feel like there might be people in the promo who don't even work here anymore. I feel like there's
you're
a lot of people in
Is
that.
Snoop Dogg definitely a part of the squad still? I don't know. I haven't heard that either.
I don't know how contract negotiations are going there. I got my blue pants. What does he want? Sign up for the YouTube page. If you already have, get like 28,000 other people to do it. And then we can stop reading this every week. All right. Preseason week 2 reactions. Before we get into the games, we got a question here from Room Court. What position groups can you take the most away from during preseason? I imagine since linebackers are based on tackling and getting to the ball, you can see the translation into the regular season easier or earlier.
Sure.
Meanwhile, it's obvious a position like quarterback is almost impossible. What do you think about that? Which positions can you really actually learn something from preseason?
Well, you learn, quarterback still. We're learning something about Trevor Lawrence, even though it's not like legit defensive game planning and all that. But you can see there's a real improvement in what he's doing. It's wide receivers, I think, is one that also can jump out to you. Teams play more man-to-man in preseason because they don't want to show all their intricate zone coverages and all that. And also they want to get their guys like, hey, this is our chance to work live mano-a-mano here. So, let's do that. So you do get to see that from DBs and receivers. And we've seen some receivers, pop out of nowhere or really shine, and I think we're going to hit on a few today. Yeah. I think the biggest one, though, and our at Room Court's not wrong. Linebacker is one it's pretty much like, oh, can that guy run and hit and tackle? Okay, he's good. There's no doubt. It's kind of a can't miss one. But offense and defensive line is another one. It almost always translates. Again, last year, I'm not trying to sit here and act like I'm Nostradamus or anything, but the Panthers D-line all through preseason. And guess what? The Panthers D-line was all awesome during the season. You can see when a team's got a look, an aggressiveness, a physicality that you go, oh, wow. And same with the offensive line. I think there is something there to it. And we're going to hit on some of those today that were a little bit better than some and a little, worse than others. And so, again, that was a broad answer.
Yeah.
I guess my biggest thing I would say is offense and defensive line, though. I do think you can really, really kind of get a good feel for a team and where they're at, looking at preseason film. Again, you're not game planning all the way, but it's still, are they firing off the ball? Are they moving people? Oh, is it first team versus first team? Okay. Oh, whoa, they're still moving people. That's still a basic premises of football that I think we can all take away from these games.
All right, so let's take a closer look at one of those guys on the defensive line that you were not so high on in the draft process, and we'll do that with Buy or Sell, presented by eBay Motors. That cut block, it was all over social media.
Right.
On Kayvon Thibodeaux. Many people saying it was a dirty block by the tight end from the Bengals, Thaddeus Moss. So Thibodeaux, from what we hear, it seems like early indications, maybe not that serious.
Yeah.
Not the torn MCL or ACL. We don't know for sure yet, I don't think.
Right.
But he was walking around. He said to people that were standing there, I'm good, I'm okay.
Yes, right.
But it didn't look good.
No, it was scary at first.
Scary
Second
at
look
first.
made you feel a little bit better. When you saw the second replay, you could see, okay, maybe his knee didn't buckle quite as bad there. I'm sure he's got a high ankle sprain, knee-ish kind of thing that's bothering him today. But yeah, it didn't. It was scary for Giants fans, no question.
If you're watching here on YouTube or on Peacock, you see the tweet there from Emmanuel Acho that says, "This is ridiculous, dangerous, and cowardly. Straight cowardly. Prayers up for Kayvon Thibodeaux." So, are we buying or selling that? It was a legal hit, I guess.
Yeah, it's
in
legal.
The game, inside the tackles,
it's inside the tackle box, right on the edge of the tackle box.
Are you buying or selling that was a dirty play?
I don't want to say it's dirty. I don't want to say it's dirty. Again, he didn't break any of the rules, but I do think it kind of goes against the unspoken rules of the NFL and protecting your brethren a little bit. And, against the, let's say, lack of a better phrase, the man code of the NFL. Yes, and again, I know it's on the defender to protect himself. But Kayvon Thibodeaux was bracing, had stopped, was bracing for the contact. And wasn't in a bad position. I don't think he's expecting a guy to dive at his knee. So I think that's where it's like, hey, it's not cowardly. I don't want to say it's, dirty, but it's not cool is what it is. It's not cool. And I think he'll be told that probably by his own teammates and things. Again, he wouldn't like it if he's running over the middle and Kayvon Thibodeaux the next time he's catching and Thaddeus Moss is catching a ball and Kayvon Thibodeaux dives at his lower knee area. That was below the knee. And, aim at the thigh, aim at the hip. That's still a sweet spot where everybody can be okay and you're still going to get the job done. But, yeah, I think that's more or less my feel on it. I'm not going to go that hard on him, but I certainly didn't love that. And it is, there's, like I've always said, there's kind of an unwritten rule there.
Yeah.
And the knees are game changers. And as we know from a lot of people in football throughout history, they'd rather be hit up high, hit me in the head. Larry Fitzgerald you used to literally say, I'll pay your fine. Don't hit me in the knee. If you hit me in the head, I'd appreciate it. That can ruin somebody's career.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. So I'm not going to go quite as hard as my Texas Longhorn alumni Emmanuel Acho there, but certainly didn't like to see that from Thaddeus Moss.
But they've made rules similar to protecting the quarterback and those low dives on the quarterback. It does seem like you could write a rule that would maybe make that illegal.
I would like to see that be illegal there.
Yeah.
And again,
if it's against the man code and you're not supposed to do it, really, it's not. You don't want it to be part of the game.
Exactly right. And the other thing too is if it's a yard wider, it's outside the tackle box.
Yeah.
So I think there is a way that maybe we can get this out of the game altogether, but it wasn't necessary either. It wasn't like Kayvon Thibodeaux was flying in there hair on fire, and it's like, oh gosh, I can't even set my feet. I gotta go low on this guy. He was stopped in place, bracing for it, and then you dive low. That's where it's just, again, against the NFL locker room man code there for sure.
That was Buy or Sell, presented by eBay Motors. You might not have the biggest garage, but with eBay Motors, you always have 122 million parts for your car right at your fingertips. ebaymotors.com.
That's a lot of parts.
That's right. That's a ton of parts.
Yeah. All right, so let's finish up, though, the Kayvon Thibodeaux
Exactly. What did you think about him before that injury?
I don't see it. Again, and then we're going to get into other rookies that I was backing in the draft process where I'm going to tell you I was wrong. as we go along here. So far, I'm not wrong about Kayvon Thibodeaux. To me, is the least impressive edge rusher that was drafted in the first round. It's not even really close, actually, in my opinion. There's been no plays to speak of he popped there. Ooh, that looked good. He almost got around the edge once, during the game, certainly, and the quarterback stepped up and got out of the pocket. But it was, it was backup offensive lineman too, and it was backup offensive lineman last week against the New England Patriots. So, again, I hope I'm wrong, but I have not seen legit explosion off the ball. I don't see speed to power. I don't see, quicks like the Aiden Hutchinson has to make people like the offensive lineman go, oh, God, what way is he going to go? There's nothing there that way. He plays hard. He does have good hands, but, that's not why you draft a guy at number 5. And so that's where I am a little bit worried as far as that's concerned overall.
Right.
And, again, they're like I've said, the Trayvon Walkers of the world, Aiden Hutchinson. We'll talk about the Chiefs and George Karlaftis. They have been certainly more impressive, and Johnson for the Jets. And we'll see another look at him tonight on Monday Night Football. But they all look a little bit better than Kayvon Thibodeaux, in my opinion.
Who you thought was a borderline first-rounder. Didn't you think that, or end of the first round?
Thibodeaux?
Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeaux.
I mean, to me, he would have been like a guy that, he should have been drafted, in my opinion, where like George Karlaftis was drafted. That's how I looked at it. Yeah. And, again, I don't want to be a pile on here, but anybody that knows, that listens to my podcast and things like that, and Pete, I don't know if we can pull up, a video again or even show that. The thing I don't love about the specimen, and this from me by now, is just the lower half. I've never seen a great pass rusher with that kind of lower half, where it's, really beautiful wide shoulders, but not really any thickness or power in the legs or butt that, are really accustomed to the great pass rushers in football.
Yeah.
And that does scare me. If you have legs like that, then, sometimes there's a guy like, let's say, and really they still not even, you need to be really tall and long and have another attribute that makes you legit there. So again, I hope I'm wrong, but it doesn't look like I am to me to this point.
Well, hopefully he gets back out there and healthy. And
yes, we need him out there. We know that.
Or right.
Yes,
from the football field.
100%.
Let's stay with the Giants before we turn the page here.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones, a lot of chatter with him. This was going to be a big preseason game for him, even though I don't know how much he played in this one. But
it was 3 drives, I believe.
3 drives, so enough
to
get a little bit of a feel.
Right.
Big Bad O said, I thought Daniel Jones played great versus Cincinnati. Every ball on the money, good zip too. I can hear the haters now. Played versus the Twos, didn't do anything in 2 drives with an INT. But yeah, what did you think of Daniel Jones?
I will, echo what Big Bad O says. I agree. What wasn't positive about it? Again, some of the things that happened on the first 2 drives, that's football. It didn't work out. I mean, we can't just put it all on the quarterback. I don't understand that. The interception, it could have been caught. It could have been a little bit more of an accurate throw. I'm not going to lie about that either. The tight end, Bellinger, he really had to stick his hands out. You'd like to see that ball underneath his chin in the numbers. And really, to me, the biggest thing with that throw is not even really, like he rushed it too. It was a pass over the middle. Bellinger cleared the middle linebacker. Let him clear it. Let him clear it so you can see it clearly and put it right on him. I think, again, he's still getting used to an offense here, but I liked the way it looked and also, showed better pocket presence, in my opinion, too. Not just standing there like the Statue of Liberty, stepping up in the pocket. There was another time nobody was open. He got outside the pocket, and we've talked about we want to see him play a little more backyard football.
Yep.
And hopefully they can bring that out of him. So I thought it was a positive. I definitely did. His arm did look good. He looked like he understood where he wanted to go with the ball every time. I know it's the Bengals, too. We get that. We'll see where it goes. But I think between that and, again, for the second week in a row, the offensive line at least looks the part. They're not perfect, but they're giving them a fighting chance. And I think that's the thing I look at. I go, oh, okay, look at it. We got actually a pocket. We're not being overwhelmed. The last few years, we had preseason games where our 1-0 line, the Giants, was against another team's 2-0 line, and he still didn't have time to throw the football. So now at least is getting that. And, yes, I will say again, I want everybody to back the off on the stupid social media tweets with Daniel Jones. And he missed this throw. This is our quarterback. First off, the Giants aren't into making practice look pretty all the time. I'm sure Tyrod Taylor's had moments of looking better. As I said last week, Tyrod Taylor's been in this offense. In Houston last year, it is a New England-type offense. Tyrod Taylor, you know where else he played early in his career? Baltimore. You know who the defensive coordinator is for the Giants? Wink Martindale. Where did he come? Baltimore. He's used to these crazy blitzes. So think about Daniel Jones. He's in a new offense again, and he's having to deal with Wink Martindale and 97 different coverages and blitzes and everything like that, where it's not going to look pretty all the time. And, I think at some point here, and I heard Dayball talk about this last week, they need to tell Wink Martindale and company to, you can't just be crazy all the time. We got to practice against cover 2 and cover 3 and some of these. Not everybody's as creative and smart as you, so you got to make sure they get those important reps. But, just the overreaction and the haters on Daniel Jones does bother me. He's one of those guys that everybody wants to jump on. Listen, if he doesn't do good, and he's not playing good through 3 or 4 weeks, I'll jump on with you and we'll say, look, it's not good. It's not good enough. Let's get Tyrod Taylor in. But there's nothing that says that right now. And don't overanalyze, especially people who don't know what they're looking at in training camp with Twitter videos. I'm sick of it.
So 14 of 16, is that for the game here? 14 of 16, 116 with that one interception and the 5 rush yards.
Yeah.
So, threw the ball quite a bit.
Yeah,
They
went right down the field. I mean, he had a few good power throws. And then the other thing I think is just important, too, is he didn't force anything either.
Yeah.
You might look at it and go, well, it was a short throw. Okay. Well, he threw the ball short to the back coming out of the backfield. He got 12 yards. You want to be mad at that? I don't know. And I haven't watched the film of that game, like I said, yet, but on TV it didn't look like there was somebody's wide open. He's missing that. He took what the defense gave him, and I think it was an encouraging start for second game in a row for the Giants and Dayball and Daniel Jones.
I'm curious to see if he can get some help from the running game and Saquon Barkley. If he can come back and be that guy that we have thought he could be for so long. If he can have an injury-free year and play a bunch of games and give him some help and take some of the pressure off Daniel Jones. But some teams don't have that luxury, and the Bills and Josh Allen really haven't had that luxury throughout his tenure with Buffalo. Hasn't prevented them from doing great things on offense, one of the best offenses out there. But maybe this year there's some juice to some of the running backs. What did you see from Buffalo in their trouncing of the Denver Broncos, 42-15?
They got 3 guys that are legit, And Singletary, we know, has been good, right? I've been one that, hey, I wish he was a hair faster, and but he can make people miss. He's a good pass game blocker. Of course, catches the ball well to the backfield. Cook is the type of guy that, he can catch a screen and go 80 yards for a touchdown. And then Moss is the guy that can come in and be the sledgehammer and be really explosive for a lot of 10 and 15-yard runs. I think I've said Ken Dorsey as an offensive coordinator is one of the underlying big questions in football for a team we're talking about as a Super Bowl team, right? So that's all looked good. Here's the other thing that I think that we don't have to question, and that I think has been underlying that maybe I should have brought attention to earlier too. Aaron Kromer, their offensive line coach, is going to change the attitude of that football team. I was with Aaron Kromer in Tampa. He was the offensive line coach for Sean Payton and the Saints there for a while. This is the best O-line coach they've had there since Josh Allen's been the quarterback. And I think he will bring not only an attitude to toughness to their offensive line, but a few things of, hey, when defenses play this, we like to run this because it sets up really well for our blocking. And I think that's where they're going to be more dangerous. And if they can get a little bit more of a power running game, and now that opens up play action pass and makes Josh Allen design runs a little bit more scary and everything, you go, ooh, watch out. But, ooh, how do you not like the way the Bills look?
Yeah.
I mean, first off, This is where, Allen and Mahomes to me they're in their own class right now. They're just superstars playing with kids out there. They really are. And just think about Josh Allen. Zoom, slant over the middle. Another little short completion, and then, let me do a 360 in the pocket, and, set back up, and let me throw a 40-yard bomb for a touchdown. Boom. I mean, he's unreal. He really is. It was a 28-yard bomb, I think, but either way, I mean, it's just he's a special player, and I think between that, Ahmed, and then we talk about, a little more physicality to your point on that side of the ball. I love the way the defense looks. They got last few years we've worried about, do they have enough playmakers? Are they big enough? They get pushed around by the teams like the Colts sometimes, and the Patriots run the ball every play the whole game. Right? And we go, what the they're running the ball. Can we stop them? Right? I don't think that shit's going to happen this year. Between Ed Oliver, who's playing really good, but Rousseau in the second year. We haven't even seen Von Miller up there yet. But the fact that they got Jordan Phillips and now Carlos Basham is the second-team defensive lineman. He starts in the game, in Von Miller's spot. Epinesa looks really good. Mm-hmm. They're just more size and ass to their team in that department to where Shaq Lawson, they have incredible depth too. And I think what's going to make them dangerous is the fact that now they're going to be able to depend on those guys to hold up. Leslie Frazier, McDermott are going to always have to come up with these crazy game plans to kind of hide that part of their football team. So the Bills they're good. And, just would have a hard time thinking they're not in the Final Four in the AFC. I'm not going to go nuts to the Final Two yet in the AFC or the Super Bowl.
That's what I wanted to, because it was interesting. We were on this podcast, 2 weeks ago, where you're like, I'm going to have a hard time not picking the Chiefs to be in the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm looking at a rundown, and I know, we got the Chiefs coming up here next in this conversation. And like I said, the Bills, even with Kyrie Elam in the secondary, they got some other contributors in the secondary that look like they've, grown up a little bit. They're going to help them. But, the Bills and the Chiefs just look like they're on a collision course for the game of the century. These two teams
we already had that.
Well,
we saw it last year.
Part due.
I guess earlier this year, yeah.
They're just... the AFC, it's so competitive and all these stars and all these teams. They're going, we're not waiting till week 1 or 2 or 3 to get our feet under it. They're going to come out, full systems go, kick your ass. And I just love the fact that they're playing their guys a little bit more and kind of setting an attitude to their football team. And they're not going to be caught off guard week 1 or 2 and be like, oh, wait, whoa, this is regular season football. They're going to be the ones that's going to be like, hey, yeah, who we playing? Oh, yeah, welcome to regular season football. We're here this year. They look phenomenal so far.
It's so fascinating that different philosophies that coaches have on this, too, because Patrick Mahomes threw the ball 19 times against Washington last game. Got a question here from Nick D. Panfelice. I think losing Tyreek Hill has made Patrick better at reading the defense and spreading the offense around. What do you think?
Just watch out. He looks as good as he's looked, and he did not look like this last year. He's a year away from, another year away from that toe injury that I talked about.
Yeah.
His movement looks back to Patrick Mahomes' movement. He's even a little cleaner in his throwing mechanics. The ball is just spinning off his hands, perfect spirals. I think he got a little into like, hey, I'm just Patrick Mahomes and I'll make it happen. I feel like he's gotten back to a little bit of like, let me get my body lined up just a little more. Let me keep my shoulder in there a little bit more. And when I'm watching film, I'm sitting there in awe because I've seen the ball in person before where I go, oh my gosh, look at that ball spin. Holy cow. Not only is it going through the air with vapor trails, but it's spinning so hard that there's a weird wobble on the film because it's spinning so hard. So as you can tell, I'm extremely excited about them too. And he looks awesome. And then I agree with our question there. To me, they're getting used to life. We're getting used to life without Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
And we know, McCole Hardman, he'll be back. And Juju, yeah, he's going to be fine. But and good. But Marquez Valdes-Scantling looks good. Of course, Kelsey looks good. The offensive line looks immovable to this point. And I think that will continue. And then you get into the scouting of Veach and Andy Reid, where they got these guys like Watson, number 84, and Noah Gray, 83, and, Danny Fountain, number 82, and Fortson. And you just go, who the hell are these guys? But they're impressive looking. Mm-hmm. So they got it all going. And they look like they can play 2 tight end sets and run the ball. McKinnon looked good. Pacheco looks good. The defense looks good. It's to me, the Bills and the Chiefs so far are the 2 teams I look at and just go, watch the freak out. And there's some other teams too, and we'll hit on. But I'm just that. And then you add those quarterbacks. It's special. It's insane in the membrane.
We have seen it before. Deshaun Watson, when he lost DeAndre Hopkins, there was some question whether he was going to be as good.
Yeah.
And in some respects, he got better.
He did. Moving
the ball around,
team
you don't
didn't
lock
win
on.
as much, so people are like, oh, well, he didn't win as much. But he actually played his best year of football. And I do think there's something to that, to what you're saying, Ahmed, no doubt.
Oh.
Sky Moore, I didn't talk about him.
Yeah.
There's another one. It's just they got players everywhere, and they have the look. And then, of course, now they have the attitude that's backing it up. And when I start to see those things, I just start to go, uh-oh, watch out, everybody.
Two guys that you liked in the draft process. You've already talked a lot about George Karlaftis on this podcast. Jerry Charles says, is George Karlaftis the best rookie defender this preseason? You also had some love for Leo Chenal from Wisconsin, correct?
Right.
Took him in the 3rd round.
Right.
So some rookies on the defensive side for the Chiefs are popping right now.
Popping. I mean, Leo Chenal, he didn't start, but he got in there early and was part of their base package, which, he just... Again, I don't understand why he was on the board so long. I don't know what you wouldn't like about a guy that's 250 and runs 4.5 and tackles and hits everybody. I was one of those where I didn't get it. And, they're kind of one of these teams like the Ravens where they just seem to collect the biggest, baddest dudes all the time. He looks great. Karlaftis is I think, we'll see what Aiden, I know Aiden Hutchinson didn't play in week 2. But Karlaftis has probably been, I think, to the question's point, probably the most impressive rookie so far. I mean, it's consistent pressure. It's consistent overpowering the offensive tackle. It's consistent nice bend around the edge. And then he's got, handwork and things that you go, well, that's not normal of a rookie to be kind of that good in that department. So, that's a bold statement there. But, yes, I think that is correct. And then, Ahmed, you throw in guys like, we talk about Chenal and Karlaftis, and then they get in dime, and Justin Reed goes down, and they bring in, Cook from the safety from Cincinnati, who he looks really good. They got number 94 Malik Herron, a young guy coming off the edge who looks really good. So I just look at them right now and go, whoa, McDuffie looks good. Fenton, the other starting corner, Reed, Thornhill, L'Jarius Sneed at nickel, and then backups that you go, oh man, if they did have an injury for 3 or 4 weeks, they're not going to be they're going to be fine. There's not going to be any problem here. So it's I'm excited about the Chiefs, as you can tell. I still think they are in that conversation, just like the Bills as kings of the AFC. Just too many good-looking, physical guys that stand out when you turn film on.
That feeling that you're having for the Chiefs right now, probably not shared by Washington Commanders fans for their team. Not a bad week 1. You had some good things to say about Sam Howell, what you saw out there.
Exactly.
They're playing at home over there in
Wentz
in
looks
DC.
good.
Wentz looks good.
He does. I got no issue with Wentz, no doubt about it.
But what about, and I don't not all their studs played on the defensive side here, but I think the Chiefs basically got every 3rd down they wanted when Patrick Mahomes was in there.
A lot of their studs did play, too. I mean, not all of them, but a lot of them did.
And they could not slow down.
It's the second week in a row where, I'm going to be funny here, but, Jack Del Rio's got to start getting his guys off of playing dust-up football and just go full-fledged insurrection here or something. I don't know what they're doing. They're playing dust-up ball, all right? Because it hasn't looked that good.
Yeah.
It hasn't. I mean, it's just, there's I would expect more. Again, they're playing a team that's really damn good, and I understand that. But defense has not been dominant. Montez Sweat, he pops for sure. But, the Chiefs had their way with them, really. I mean, it was very easy. So that does scare me a little bit by the way they played. And then, you look at that. I love their receivers. Curtis Samuel, Dotson looks good and looks the part. Of course, McLaurin's real.
Yep.
De'Ami Brown, maybe not as good as what I thought he was going to be, but still, he is damn good. Gibson is good. I love the Robinson kid. The Robinson kid's a real in-between the tackles, sledgehammer runner. So I wouldn't be shocked if he was starting when it's all said and done because he's a little more trustworthy about that. But I worry about their O-line. Their O-line is something that worries me. It wasn't great in week 1. It wasn't great again this past weekend. And that's where, I guess I wonder, I was expecting a little bit better of a look, I think, throughout the whole football team. And I do wonder if they're going to maybe have to play through the pass a little bit more and open the field up that way to maybe help out the run game and just get the ball to Samuel and McLaurin and be that kind of football team until maybe the offensive line can get their their feet underneath them a little bit.
Yeah, so what do you think about what's going on at running back for them? Because that's been a big story.
Yeah.
Antonio Gibson had such a good year last year, figured he would be the starter this year. He has not gotten a whole lot of run, which you can't read too much into that, but when he has had the touches, 6 rushes this year. In the preseason, just 5 yards, where Brian Robinson, 14 rushes, 57 rush yards. One of the big things, too, is I think Antonio Gibson ran back a kick, too, playing on special teams, which is not necessarily a great sign if you're the starting guy running back.
Right.
What's going on there in the backfield?
Yeah, I think that does say something to your point. You know, he's our backup running back. Put him back there. I think he's fallen out of the trust tree a little bit because of his inability to hold the ball. I think, you know, he fumbled in week 1. I think that scares him. There's a few fumbles last year, if I remember correctly. So I think that's got to be in their head a little bit. And it doesn't mean anything. He's still going to have a major role in their offense. He's definitely better than Robinson in the pass game. Had a nice catch coming out of the backfield where he ran a little Texas or angle route, whatever system you're in, you want to call that. That was really nice. I would say, man, if Heineke hit De'Ami Brown there, it might have been a bigger play. But he'll have a role. He's a really damn good player. But I think ultimately it's just Robinson brings a physicality, power, can move the pile. You know, is very good at dodging people in close quarters to get a few extra yards. And I think the ball security thing's a real thing for them, with Ron Rivera being kind of a defensive head coach there. Yeah. So, again, I think he'll have a role. But, yeah, I don't think he's going to be the starting running back. I don't think he will be.
Sam Howell played again for them a little bit. Ball security, you speak of that. He had an interception in the game. Justin Fields, his rookie year last year, you were impressed with a lot of things you saw with him last year. Don't know if the team around him is built for him to succeed this year, but he played in the preseason game against the Seahawks, completed 5 of his 7 passes, took off for 1 yard on the ground there. But what did you see when you look at Justin Fields in this offense?
He looks good. There's no doubt. Again, am I going to sit here and tell you I'm in love with his throwing motion? No, I'm not. But it's still good, and he controls the football. And again, he's got a presence and an ability about him when he does get outside the pocket or even standing in the pocket that's real. So I like everything there. I do. You know, I'm going to question about how great it can be until I'm totally sold on the throwing. And I don't mean to be the hater of Justin Fields. I know I'm kind of that guy. And again, I'm rooting for him. I hope he proves me wrong. But, overall, you know, I think he looks like he knows what he's doing. He understands the offense. Again, it's a new system from him. I think he'll have more, you know, concise planning on that side of the ball this year with Getsy from Green Bay. So I think he's going to feel comfortable in a lot more areas maybe when he's underneath center in the shotgun to go, oh, wait, my guy gave me answers here. I know what to do against this and this and this. So I got nothing to say. I think you kind of said it. It's just a little bit more about, you know, what is the rest of the team going to look like? You know, they look well coached and organized and, like, you know, play hard and pretty disciplined.
Yeah.
Do they have enough difference makers to what you're saying? Is there enough difference makers on both sides of the ball to where, hey, this is a hard-fought game in week 4. All right, now who's going to make the play to help them win the game? It's an even game, right, against this team and blah, blah, blah. So that's the big thing there. But, yeah, I think there's, you know, a lot of good – they didn't look as sloppy as Seattle. I mean, Seattle, it's a slop fest. It's, you know – and then everybody piles on Geno Smith too, which I don't necessarily like either. That bothers me a little bit, Ahmed.
So they were piling on Geno Smith, who was 10 for 18, 112 yards. We didn't see Drew Lock.
Right.
Tested positive for COVID.
Yep.
That's still out there. That's still a thing, apparently. It's
I know.
Still out there.
And he's apparently got like 6.
Did he really?
Yeah, like they said he was really under the weather. Right. And it is still a thing for sure.
So stay safe out there,
Yep.
homies. We transitioned over there to Geno Smith. So the haters are out there. The haters are always going to say he's just not a guy who's going to win you games. Maybe he'll prevent you from losing, but he's not going to wow me out there. And he's kind of boring. Can't we find something that's at least more exciting? Who knows if it's better or worse?
Yeah, I think it's another guy that people just want to jump on just because it's Geno Smith, and there was chances to jump on him early in his career, so we'll just keep piling the shit on him. And I just don't think that's fair. You know, I don't. I didn't come away from the game going, man, you know, first off, their O-line is not good. They got a rookie left tackle who jumped off sides a bunch of times. Seattle always has penalties. See, they were having penalties with Russell Wilson in the preseason too, but it just didn't matter because it was Russell Wilson. So we're like, oh, they'll be okay. They'll be good. It's okay. No, Pete Carroll, they have a tradition of being the most penalized team in football. They always are. So there's issues there, and yes, it's sloppy. So, he has a first third down, Ahmed. He throws a strike on like a 20-yard in cut, and it goes right through. It almost hit the guy in the face. He has his hands like this, wrong hands like this, as the ball's going to hit him in the face. It goes right through his hands, first down. And thank God Dan Orlovsky, later the next drive was like, no, Geno threw a great ball on third down. The guy's got to catch the ball. I think it was Freddie Swain on that one that dropped it. Had another ball batted at the line of scrimmage. And then he had a play action pass where he tripped and fell. So that was the end. Oh my gosh. Him and Travis Homer hit feet together there. But again, I don't look at like the Seattle Seahawks and go, he's definitely the downfall of the football team.
Well, yeah, here I was going to give you this here, and tell me if you agree with this.
Right.
The Seahawks are not going to be good.
Yes.
Geno Smith will not be the reason that they're bad, though.
Exactly right. That's maybe the way to say it. Exactly right. And again, I think he's trustworthy with his decision making, and he's going to take care of the ball. And yeah, we might see Drew Lock during the air. Sure, we might. Drew's got big time talent. So does Geno, though. Geno's talent is real. I don't know how you can't watch that game and go, whoa, the ball pops off his hands. He is a pretty good athlete. So that, again, not that I'm sitting here trying to anoint him.
Yeah.
But Seattle, what does Seattle have? What do they have? What does everybody expect? They have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, and then just a bunch of other solid players. I love the left tackle and his look, but he's raw and getting used to the NFL. But Kenneth Walker's hurt.
I know.
Rashad Penny, he'll be in there, and I'm excited for that. But, yeah, you said it right. I like your quote. That was a good way to put it.
He won't be the reason.
He won't be the reason.
He won't be very good.
There's a lot of other
Maybe
reasons
not
that are
fun to
issues
watch.
there.
You mentioned Charles Cross.
Yeah.
Jumping off sides a few times.
Right.
Rookie first-round pick. You were high on him.
Yep.
You were high on Ickey Ekwonu.
Yep.
You were high on Evan Neal. I heard you talk about Evan Neal last time when you were going through your notes by yourself.
Right.
Solo. Ripping through notes here. They've all struggled a little bit this year.
Yeah.
And so as we kind of move over to the Panthers here, they took on the Patriots, and they had some joint practices there that we'll get into. Let's just start there because, you said Cross doesn't look great. Ekwonu maybe doesn't look great against Josh Uche in the game, and then Neal. So what's going on here? Because I feel like the idea with these offensive linemen, they're can't miss, ready to play, will contribute to your team from snap number one.
Well, they will. Just because they're getting beat a few times in preseason game 1 or 2, just don't overreact. It's a huge learning curve. Again, they're used to being, even in the SEC, like we've said, or the ACC, there's no pass rushers that they're seeing like this right now in the NFL.
Yeah.
Then it's grown men who are schooled and really into their craft and have a whole different variety of moves that they're still learning. And then add on to it, wait, I was blocking this guy on this down. Now it's another guy, and he's totally different.
Yeah.
Wait, they had the big guy, and now it's this guy, and he's really quick. And now it's the guy that's an in-betweener. So it's life adjustment, and they're used to being physically dominant. We'll talk about another tackle here in a minute. But, I like their look. Evan Neal is a road grader in the run game. He's used to being able to lean on people and then just crumbling to the ground a little bit, or just being like, oh my gosh, he hit me with one arm and I'm done. I can't rush anymore. Well, he's seeing that he's got to finish plays. He even gave up a play or a sack last night where he leaned a little bit, his feet stop, and the guy goes around him. Ickey Ekwonu looks good, but again, he is blocking one guy, and it's Matt Judon and that crew, and then all of a sudden it's Uche, who is one of the stars of preseason, in my opinion, for the Patriots so far. Josh Uche, number 55 of the Patriots, has real pass rush value. He's got incredible strength for a guy that's not overly big. He's 250, but his speed and his ability to bend and just rip with the inside arm, it's really damn good. He's looked like one of the better pass rushers of all preseason to me that's popped out. So yeah, he got a little schooling from him a few times, but I'm not like, oh man, he looks weak, or oh man, there's a lack of foot quickness. No, it's more like, oh man, welcome to the NFL.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of studs you're going to have to block on a weekly basis.
I think we were saying the same thing about Penei Sewell last
exactly.
year with
we
the Lions.
Think about it, that maybe is maybe the biggest adjustment of any position, just because of kind of what we're saying. here's a sledgehammer. Whoa, here's a fast and a smaller guy. And then, whoa, here's a guy that's got a little of everything. He's got some quickness, and then he's got the little sledgehammer ability too. So, and then they're more schooled in their techniques than you are as a rookie and all that. Plus you're thinking, and the offensive line and left tackle, there's a lot of things going on the line of scrimmage. So again, the look is the most important thing, and none of them look out of place. None of them are perfect yet. And, I like the way Ickey looked.
Jay Sally 1054 wants to be positive about his Panthers. He wants something to grab a hold of early this year, because last year was a disappointing year. Good start, and then it was just like, this is frustrating to watch. He goes, once upon a time, you said the Patriots scheduled teams they feared for joint practices. Does that mean the league should worry about the Panthers because Bill scheduled them for a joint practice?
I like that question, that Jay Sally 1054. See, I can tell he's been listening to the pod for a while. I don't know if that stands true as much for the Patriots anymore, because I think we're getting to the end of the Bill Belichick career where he's not worried about, keeping diaries on team as much. But yes, I was always, back in my Bleacher Report days, going, I wouldn't practice against the Patriots. I mean, Chip Kelly came to town and, came to the NFL. Who were they? He was gonna get a feel for Chip Kelly. He wasn't gonna get blindsided if he had to play in a regular season game. Oh, the Saints are a team to watch out for. Oh, here come the Saints to town and practice. He was gonna knows they're gonna have a little dialogue and diary with their we're gonna write this down and this down. They like to do that. And they're scary that way. This is more, I think, a relationship with Matt Rule and a guy that is a real football guy. I think in his eyes, Rule's respected by a lot of NFL people. He is, and I know it hasn't gone perfectly yet, but so I'm not saying they schedule them to worry about some schematical thing that they're trying to figure out, like maybe they were with Drew Brees and Sean Payton, and if we have to see them in a Super Bowl, we'll be ready because we got a little time against them, right? I don't think it's that. But, the one thing is, the Panthers, I mean, I'm not saying playoffs, but I'll back up again kind of what I said last year. I think if Baker Mayfield can play good football, they're going to be a pain in the ass and a force in the NFC. I do. There's just, to me, too many good things about the team. That defense ain't going anywhere. They got studs across the board. And I think at the very least, that's what Bill and the Patriots are probably looking at is like, hey, we can get our young offensive line and our young quarterback used to this defense that's got an unbelievable defensive front and corners and everything that way. And I know this guy, and they're going to bring a physicality element to the practice that I like. And it made it got too physical as they had so many fights out there.
Did have a few fights, which is not unusual in all these joint practices and the training camp, and we've talked about that before. Matt Corral did play a little bit in this game, and then had to leave. Got his foot stepped on. Now he's going to probably miss the year because of that Liz Frank injury, which is a total bummer.
Yep.
Matt Corral was 9 of 15 in the game, just 58 yards, so not a whole lot of production. Got a question here from Jonathan Chue. He says, based on what you've seen so far, would you make any adjustment to your draft rankings for quarterbacks?
100%. 100%.
Already?
Yeah, 100% at Jonathan Chue.
All right, so if you don't know what they were, and you didn't follow us all draft season, shame on you.
Yeah.
Because that's a fun time.
Right.
Chris is doing so much work.
Yeah.
Even more work than maybe during the season. Number 1, he had Matt Corral out of Ole Miss. Number 2, Malik Willis out of Liberty. 3 was Kenny Pickett, then Sam Howell and Desmond Ridder. So you would do, what would you change?
Matt, I don't like what I've seen from Matt Corral. I'm going to be wrong about Matt Corral. I'm going to take this on the chin this year. That's just the way it's going to be. I feel that, and that's my thought. I don't like the look. He plays very small. It's just, again, not that you got to be a giant, but if you're his size, then you got to be really quick and fast, and he ain't that either. It's not as quick and as fast as I thought it was either.
How did tape fool you?
Well, I think I don't know if I thought maybe he was a hair bigger and could play in the pocket a little bit more than I thought, and I thought he was going to be able to maybe hop around and move to a degree and create some of those off-schedule plays that I value so much. Seen nothing of that so far. Let alone when the pocket collapses, it's like the shit's over. All right, he's not even in the same class as Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett. I'm wrong. I'm just telling you right now.
Okay, let me throw this at you. Though.
And I know it's early, and I don't like to overjudge, but it's one that I'm ready to kind of judge a little bit.
Say it the same way you were talking about some of those offensive linemen. It's just a shock to the system.
Sure.
Whoa, and you know how quarterbacks can become a robot sometimes.
Right.
Like I'm just trying to execute the play. I can't even remember the play.
I think there's some of that.
You're a shell of what you can be because you're just so uncomfortable in the situation.
I don't, and I appreciate you sticking up for me and attacking me at the same time. It's actually really cool.
I'm sticking up for the former you, the you from 3 months ago. I'm attacking the current you.
Yeah. Protection has not been good. There's no doubt about that. But I've seen, and we'll talk about Kenny Pickett in a minute. I mean, he's under pressure. Shit, guys throwing dimes everywhere. Malik Willis, Malik Willis is a man already. I mean, Malik Willis is like, oh, you're defense end, raw, get off me, raw. I'm going to run out here and throw a laser sidearm. I mean, it's just they have things about their look that I just go, well, they belong right now. Now, Matt Corral, maybe he does, but I don't think it's anytime soon. That's what I'm saying, I guess. It's going to be a while, and especially with the injury now.
Yeah, that hurts.
So, I mean, even if Baker or Sam Darnold leave town after the year, they're not going to be like, oh, Matt Corral, you showed us enough last year. You're the starting quarterback. No, they're going to bring somebody else in. He's going to have to sit again. So that's it scares me a little bit. I'll say that. Maybe I'm overreacting by that, but if I had to re-rank to the question, I'd go Pickett 1, Willis 2, but, like, I love Willis, the way he looks, too. I mean, Willis has a chance to me right now to be the Josh Allen-y guy, where I just go, I love his motion. I love the way he throws the football. He's a gifted, in-control runner. He's strong in the pocket, and I already saw adjustments to his game. I mean, I don't even know. Are we talking about them later? Am I just going to go
Let's
all
do it.
in
Let's
on
go
this
right
now?
now.
Let's
go right now.
Yeah,
go right now.
Let's just go right now.
It hasn't been the most efficient for Malik Willis, but he's popped. Some of the things that he's done.
Exactly. The things that aren't efficient are very coachable. So I just go, that's fine. He's gonna learn how to read this a little bit better. He'll learn that he can't run all the time, and he's just stay in the pocket. There was a few plays in the game the other night, Ahmed, where you could tell Vrabel was in his brain. And I wanted to go, no, this is one you need to run. But he was like, no, we'll stay in here. Coach said to stay in the pocket.
Yeah.
You know,
because he got pulled from the first game, right? Because he ran too much,
ran way too much, and there was completions to be had. But he popped in that game too. And I just, the arm is real. It's a big time NFL arm, and it's easy and smooth. And then you see already the little bit of the magician he's got with the sidearm throw. It's the second week in a row we've seen a really impressive sidearm throw. And then, breaking tackles in the pocket when he does get out in the run. Not that he's like 4.4 speed, but because of his strength and his ability to change directions and like break down people, it almost translates to, like, he makes people stop, and then he can kind of accelerate pretty good. So I've loved the way he looks, and I think that was, again, it wasn't perfect the other night, but wow, it just to me is just a matter of time, and it's Tannehill's going to be the guy this year, but if Tannehill got hurt, I just go, they don't count out the Titans.
Yeah.
They can still be dangerous, and they might have their guy for the future here. I mean, if you ask me right now, I go, they got their guy for the future, and I'm excited about it.
It does almost feel like Tannehill is on shakier footing right now. And Morgan, who runs our social media, always hanging around with the podcast, helping us on this venture.
Yeah.
She was around their camp. She was going around with Peter King.
Share people
She mentioned to us just before the podcast here today that he already kind of acts the part of that leader, of a guy that people congregate around.
And she said you could feel the energy around him when he was out there, and the players loved to be with him. And then that's tangible. It's a real thing. I mean, it really is. And not that that it is. There's certain guys, and then when they see your talent and then the personality matches up, they gravitate towards him. And I think he might have some of that magic. So they're excited. The Titans have, they're a good football team, and they might not need him this year. But, either way, it looks like John Robinson and Vrabel got a good one there.
Well, and the fact that I think Vrabel was hard on him probably speaks to the fact that maybe he sees some of this stuff.
He's pushing
let's not give him a big head. We think he can be something here.
I think so, too.
Let's kick it into high gear. He doesn't need me praising him right now. It's like he's doing all the right things. It's like, no, I'm going to push him. So maybe he senses that a little bit as well. One of his big targets may be Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
Had 3 targets in the game. Just caught one of them for 4 yards. Did you see anything from him?
No, but and I know Vrabel said this after the game that he liked what I said, and I promise you, saw this before I saw that quote. I'm going to echo that. Burks looked better. He looks like he's in better shape. He looked twitchier. He looked a little bit more explosive.
Then what?
Just like the first week was a little bit.
Week 1 to week 2.
Week 1 to week 2, maybe a little unsure of himself. Just the way he came off the ball, the way he ran routes, I just went, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, the ball didn't go to him. So what? It wasn't like he was like, I was like, oh, man, he's so slow. He can't get open. Oh, my gosh, this is going to be a disaster. So it's one where, don't just look at the stat sheet. The player itself looks like he belongs. Am I expecting him to be A.J. Brown this year? No. Come on. That's insane. But I still think, let's see another game here, and I think he looks the part to me. So that's exciting.
Ekwonu?
Oh, I know.
The tight end?
He was
Pete's
one of my honorable mentions in the
Ooh.
tight ends when we did the draft process.
Okay.
And I know I can't Ekwonu. I can't say his name either.
We're getting to the part of the podcast where we've been talking for a while, and now we get into the tough names where we're gonna have some issues.
We are.
Pete, do you have any idea? We got to look that up. I kind of want to go through. I want to get all the tough names.
Oh,
because a lot of them are on the defensive line.
You're right.
Right, too?
Right.
And I want to learn them.
Okay.
Because there are some very difficult names out there.
That could be a
now.
fun segment where you teach me how to say them.
Yes.
All right.
We go through it together.
Right.
Because I'm not great at it.
No,
I might be a little bit better than you, but I don't know that that's true.
Well, you will be
time.
once you learn, because you're very good that way. Once you've said it a few times, you're pretty damn good. But I just want to give the guy some love because he was an honorable mention during the tight end stuff, and he's got freakish ability. He was so raw in Maryland. And Maryland always has these guys where I just go, man, this guy's a freak, but he's just a little has no clue what he's doing yet. But you could see the lights are coming on with this guy. And he's, second week in a row where I just go, whoa. Again, they know how to evaluate tight ends and groom them down there. Shit, Vrabel could have played tight end in the NFL. And they of course, value it with the style of play they are with running the ball, smash mouth, play action, tight end over the middle. So he's a guy, again, I look at to go, ooh, they got something for the future. He might not take off this year, but he certainly looks the part and looks more than the part. I think has a chance to be actually a really, really special tight end in the NFL by the things I've seen so far.
So let's do Kenny Pickett next after this, but we want to pause for a quick
station
update.
Identification?
Station identification, yeah, for all of our local stations to identify themselves. Do they even do that anymore?
Every now and then I feel like you see one on a football game. Yeah,
they do?
Right.
Pete's saying they do that every once in a while now. Station identification. On the radio, it's more of a radio thing now than a TV thing.
Right.
This is from 7th Evan. He says, how are the weed withdrawals? So it's a detox update here. He goes, has it affected your sleep at all? So it sounds like he's speaking from experience.
It does. He sounds like he's an experienced smoker here. And I'm still trucking along here. I'm doing good. I'm 3 weeks in. I said I was going to go to September 1st. I lied. I'm not going to make it that long. I'm going to smoke this weekend.
Your last week, because it's like
it's
your
my
last
weekend, kind of
before the football season.
Right. So I'm this Friday night. It's a guns ablazing or my lighter ablazing for sure with my weed. I can't wait.
Have you gotten the positive benefits though that you had hoped for?
No, I go through this all the time, and see, I love this. I'm glad we're making a little turn here. No, I go through this all the time where. When you're smoking too much, you go, oh, man, maybe I wouldn't be so tired if I didn't smoke, or maybe I wouldn't have forgot that if I didn't smoke.
Yeah.
And then, 2 weeks after being sober, I go, I'm forgetting more shit now than I ever did. I don't know. Maybe I'm better off smoking. And damn, I'm tired too. But this last few days were my hardest days so far. Like the first 2 weeks, I was good.
Okay.
And then I got to this weekend, and I told my wife on Saturday night, I was like, this is like the first night I'm really missing weed. I really am. I wanted that mental relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
I could not sleep as well at first, to his question.
That's a real thing.
It's a real thing, because weed, as you know, a lot of people use it to sleep. It conks you out. And so, at first I was like, I was sleeping but not getting deep sleep. I'd be like, wait, did I sleep? Or I feel like I was barely asleep there, and it's 5:30 in the morning and I have to get up. Shit.
Yeah.
So there was that. And my, the appetite maybe for the first few days wasn't normal, but I'm back to normal. The good thing is I've had no dreams about weed yet. I've gone through this in my past where I literally dream about weed. I haven't done that yet, but this Friday, I'm coming out with
you're
a
back.
vengeance.
You're coming back.
Yeah, baby.
You're like Tom Brady coming out of retirement.
That's
You're like,
right.
I'm back.
That's
everyone.
right. Screw those last 4 or 5 days. I'm calling it quits on the 26th or 7th.
Okay. We got a pronunciation for the tight end from the Titans.
Okay.
His first name, he goes by Chig.
Okay.
So Chig.
Okay.
Okonkwo.
I think we can do that. Okonkwo. All right, it's Okonkwo. Okay, it's just as it's spelled, really. I guess I don't know why I thought there was an R in there. So Okonkwo. Okay.
Have you replaced the weed though with more alcohol? Because maybe that's why you're still not remembering stuff.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I'm really not a drinker.
Okay.
I never have been.
Our draft night you did. You had
I know.
a couple.
Well, I was doing both that night. I actually realized I don't really like drinking unless I've smoked a little.
Oh, interesting.
And not that I always do them both, but I definitely don't like drinking just on itself. And I never have been, and really COVID made me maybe a little bit more of a drinker than I'd ever been in my life.
Interesting.
Yeah, but so yeah, and I had a drink Saturday. I had to go to my nephew's birthday party. And
you need something for that.
I had some drinks, yeah, but that's about it.
All right, that's your detox update. All the stations have
Brought
identified.
to you by Ahmed Fareed.
All the stations have identified themselves. I'm going to. Yeah, we're still looking for a sponsor. Pete knows there.
I can find a sponsor
Detox
in that
update
department.
for sure.
Are you going to smoke with me one day? One day, maybe? No?
I'm not against it.
Okay.
I'm not against that.
All right.
All right, we can try that.
Good. Wow,
I might do that before I swear.
Strong. Yeah, I was just about to say, you won't swear, but he's going to smoke weed with me. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do a smoke-a-thon. We'll raise money for me to swear and smoke. All right, so I'm going to skip down here, Pete, real quick, because we're kind of talking about these rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Kenny
let's
Pickett.
do it.
Let's do the Steelers. You've already talked a little bit about him on previous podcasts. Your dad liked what he saw from him there as well. Drobe says, would love to hear your thoughts on Kenny Pickett's quarterback's performance so far. So assume people have heard, you've said he's awesome. He continues to impress.
Really impress. I mean, when, I saw some of the highlights the other night, but then when Sunday morning came around, I think I put Chiefs Commanders on film first, and then I was like, all right, let me see a steal. I go to all the games first off where I feel like the real players play. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if I'm going to watch Detroit versus Indianapolis preseason game. I don't give a shit about a lot of those guys that played in that game.
Yeah.
That was one of those games. But Pickett, he can just play. He really can. And I don't even know where to say it. It's just like has a great feel for the game, has great control of the football, understands where to go the ball, understands, oh, no, I'm in trouble. Here's a safe place to throw the ball. And the biggest thing is, under pressure, holy crapola. Some of the throws he made, the touchdown throw he had called back because the left tackle hold was phenomenal. A few of the third down throws with people in his face and just being able to still see the field clearly, kind of hung on his back foot, throws it, not looking at the rush. Like, looked at the rush to go, okay, wait, I got to hurry up and make a decision, but then the eyes went right back downfield. He is a starting quarterback right now in the NFL. And I would say they really should go with him as the starting quarterback.
Wow, really?
But there's one issue.
Uh-oh.
The offensive line would scare the shit out of me. Their offensive line got steamrolled in the football game. Concerning. Steamrolled. Left tackle is an issue for sure. Trubisky was under fire, and so was Kenny Pickett. And I just feel like Kenny Pickett, he knows how to read a defense, and he doesn't lose control of the football. And not that Trubisky was bad, but if their offensive line was better, I'd be sitting here going, start Kenny Pickett, start the new era right now. But I think I'd be a little scared with their early schedule and playing the Bengals week 1, and I believe they're on the road in week 1, to where I go, I don't know if you want to throw it. That guy might get beat to hell early in the year. Let them figure it out a little bit and get them playing a little bit better. Right, they are on the road, Pete's confirming. So there you go. Those first three defensive lines.
At Bengals, home against the Patriots, at Browns on Thursday
Patriots
night.
are stacked on the D-line too.
Yep.
Browns, we know. Jets are going to be better there. Yeah, maybe the Thursday night game, Pete's saying in my ear, after the Browns, that might be the time. If it doesn't look good and they're 1-2, and maybe you make the trade. The change.
The thing is, you think that Pickett could handle having to escape and be mobile with a bad offensive line. It's not that.
It is. It's not that, but it is also going to go to another level of, talent and, whoa, the fans are crazy. It's regular season football.
Yeah.
And you're maybe not get so many bland coverages as much to where that's the only thing I worry about. But if they think he can handle it, it's go time. I'm always in favor of the Peyton Manning school. Throw him out there, let him take your lumps, get him playing. It's only going to be better in the future for the Steelers. Steelers, I like a lot of the things on their football team, but the offensive line is a real issue. And not that Trubisky didn't look good. Trubisky looked good too. And he, made a great escape one play and had Deontay Johnson, gone for a touchdown, and he underthrew the ball, and it was incomplete. But it was a great escape and all that. And then, again, I don't want to put and say he did a bad job. He looked good too. But Pickett just looks extremely comfortable and beyond his years as far as a rookie. And he looks like he's ready to go. You said it right. The movement's good. The arm is good. There's no weakness to his game. The decision-making's good. There might not be as much wow factor as Malik Willis, who we've talked about, where I guess, whoa, what a throw. Whoa, that's a rocket. Holy crap, it's a run. But, man, running the offense, doing he's ahead of those guys in that department. Yeah. And, I really like the look a lot.
Maybe you're finally going to have to reconsider your prejudice against players who wear a glove, quarterbacks who wear a glove.
I know. You're right.
You might have to reconsider
that. You're exactly right. Sometimes you just got to get over your prejudices, like you're saying.
Pete tells me 3 incomplete passes this preseason. He also has 3 touchdown passes. Kenny Pickett has looked good in the preseason. Trevor Lawrence has looked good this preseason. He looked good just by his pregame warm-up that you saw in the Hall of Fame game earlier. Still impressed with Trevor Lawrence and what you're seeing?
Really impressed. The physical ability and all that stuff we talk about. It's the real deal Holyfield there. The one thing I will say, and it's the second week in a row, and I said this last week, lock onto receivers a little too much. Missed a throw or two that I think even Doug Peterson alluded to in his post-game press conference. And I think early on, hey, he's still getting used to a new offense and plan too. But, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I would look at is just locking on to the first read. Get off it. Go to the next guy. It's not Clemson anymore. Your guy's not going to win and just be open all the time. So, do it that way. There was, one out route to the left where, hey, his feet got a little cockeyed and he lost control of the football. But overall, yes, I like the look. The Jaguars are a team that I would just go, watch out. Watch out for the Jaguars. The Jaguars, with him at quarterback, the receivers they have, the tight ends they have, their O-line, they got to figure out right tackle, but even if they're going to figure it out. They have 2 good options there. Jawan Taylor or Walker Little look good. So, they're a team that, like we've hit on some of these other teams, I love the look of their team. They're young. Does that mean that I think they're going to go to the playoffs or go on a 8-game winning streak at some point? No, probably not. But they are going to be a pain in the ass. And if there is one team right now that I say just comes out of nowhere, right? And all of a sudden maybe is in the playoffs or anything, my bet of the year with that team that nobody sees coming would be Jacksonville.
That's what I'm saying. We're getting to the point where I almost feel like when we make our picks here, in a week or so?
Yeah.
I almost feel like they're your team. You almost have to put that stake in the ground on them.
Well, I might. I don't know if I'll have the guts to say playoffs.
7 seed doesn't necessarily mean it's a good team.
I know. You're right.
At this point.
Right.
Last year we saw. The 7 seeds got blown out.
Right.
They got blown out in the first week.
But they can be really dangerous. There's no question. And, the secondary looks good. Andre Sisco, my number 1 safety from 2 years ago, he's starting. They get into the 4-man nickel pass rush situation. They had Trayvon Walker and Arden Key at defensive tackle, and Josh Allen and Kayvon Chase on a defense end. Our man Foyesade Oluokun in the middle, he looks the real deal. They have so many good-looking players. Again, they're young. It's a new staff, and they got to learn to be battle-tested and all of that. But I don't see one a little bit like Miami and that where I just go. I don't see any physical weaknesses on their football team, and that's really encouraging.
I'm curious to see what Travis Etienne does because I'm thinking about taking him in my fantasy league. I got to find Matthew Berry in the hallway. And see what he thinks about
Etienne looked even better, I thought, in week 2 than compared to last week.
Get 8 carries. They ran him a little bit.
He's got a real explosion, and he's got a real knack, a little bit like we talked about with Brian Robinson from the Commanders, of kind of dodging people in close quarters. And you go, whoa, there wasn't much there, but he got a 6-yard run there. That was pretty impressive. I like the way he looks.
So maybe they'll surprise some people this year.
They're gonna be a pain in the ass.
People
for sure.
in Houston are hoping that the Texans surprise some people in that same division. Who knows? Davis Mills had a pretty surprising year last year. He impressed. His production was better than maybe what we thought it would be with the tools that he had, although, as you noted, there were some weapons on that team last year.
Yep.
Hennessy Black wants to know, does Davis Mills have it or not? Capital IT.
Or not is what I'm going with.
Still.
I mean, I was really underwhelmed with Davis Mills the other night. I mean, I was up watching. It was, what was that, Friday night, Saturday night? There's just nothing there for me to jump on with Davis Mills. There's nothing. He actually looked less accurate than last year. There's no power on the football. He threw 2 jump balls up the right sideline. If it weren't for that, his stats would be very bad. The guy made a great catch. I think it was Nico Collins in the end zone for a touchdown, right? It was an unbelievable catch. He threw another ball on the right sideline that was, I go, man, if that's a first-team defense, that's big trouble right there. So I don't like the way it looks. And when I look at that, I just go, no, he's just holding the place for this next year's crop of quarterbacks that's supposedly supposed to be pretty damn good, and they're going to draft one of them. So, I'm sorry. I'm going with or not on that one, Hennessy Black.
So still not sold on Davis Mills.
No.
You were not sold on Derek Stingley Jr. in the draft process, the defensive back who ended up going number 3 overall to them.
Looks the part, Ahmed.
Ooh.
Looks the part. I mean, he looks like a star corner. He's got incredible hips, ability to put his foot in the ground and drive on the ball. Now he's going against he was going against some guys where, they're not in his class. This is my one thing I want to see with Stingley. I want to see if he's really got the extra gear when it comes time to, I got to go chase Allen Robinson or Cooper Kupp or one of those guys. He's getting to go against guys that, he should be able to cover. That's my only thing I need to see. I'm not blown away by the straight-ahead explosion, but the hips, the body control, he understands coverage and all that, looks very good. There's no doubt about it. I just would like to, not judge it all the way yet. I'd like to see him go against a guy that can really run 4.3 and then go, okay, wait, now you can't kind of sit on everything because this guy can't run by you. You have to respect this guy. He's going to run by you. What's it going to look like? I got to see that a little bit, but certainly – I was definitely encouraged by the way he looked.
Yeah, and he put that on tape. It was all back in 2019. That was the problem.
Exactly
he hadn't
right.
shown it. He hadn't played a whole lot.
Right.
Did he still have that
disinterested
ability?
a little bit?
When he did play, it wasn't quite as good as it was in 2019. But maybe he's returning to that form. And they could have a pretty good secondary here because they also took Jalen Petrie in the second round.
Yeah.
Did you see him at all?
I did.
There?
He started. I mean, he's number 5 out there. That's another one. I don't see it right now. I don't. Okay. Small and not very explosive is what I would say, and that's usually not a very good combination. So we'll see where that goes. But I certainly watched those two very closely on that side of the ball, and I was underwhelmed with Jalen Petrie for sure.
Okay. All right. So underwhelmed there. So I was a little hit and miss. If you're a Houston Texans fan, I feel like you got some good with a little bit of the bad there.
For sure.
Here's the real question.
Yeah.
Dolphins fans, we know they don't like you, and they probably never will. Even now, if you go and
it's
say
too late, right?
You love Tua, and because you've said positive things about him and the football team in the past,
right?
But I think they're past the point where they want to forgive you here.
They want to kill me.
The real false prophet,
right?
Says, can you shed some light on Tua, specifically the pass to Edmonds instead of the guy over the middle right? Don't know if you saw that play. It was 3rd and 3.
Yes.
Cedric Wilson was wide open over the middle. Tua went to Edmonds in the flat.
They still got the first down, and it wasn't the wrong read. Now, by the book, it probably should have gone over the middle. It was a Tampa 2 defense where, of course, Tampa 2. The middle linebacker gets out there. The guy was kind of sitting there replacing that guy. But he played the weak side. They had to, slant by the receiver, and then Edmonds in the flat. Edmonds got leverage right away, and he got out there. So that wasn't a bad decision by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm not going to overjudge on that at all. I thought Tua looked good. I did. Again, the Dolphins are one of these teams in preseason so far that you just go, ooh, my gosh, they look really good. They just got to get the O-line. That's the right tackle is one thing I question. Austin Jackson there, he did not look that great in the football game. So there's an issue there. Teron Armstead wasn't out there. O-line, I worry about that. But, man, the way they look, with that offense, I just think it suits him. Play action, bootlegs, it's right up his alley. And then, he does have good feel in the pocket, and he does have some deliveries to wheel and deal, too. So I think he's in a situation that could set him up perfectly for what he's got. So I had no issue with that. Did a good job one time in a play action pass, looked to the right, hit the deep curl to the left on Cedric Wilson. That was impressive. Had another one where, went through the reads and got a nice completion. So I like the way Tua looked overall. The Dolphins as a whole, as a football team, wow. And then they got a rookie receiver in, another name that we need to practice here. The kid from Texas Tech that they drafted in the 4th round. And where the hell is this damn game on my sheet here? Oh, I got it. Ezukanma.
Oh, boy.
87. Real deal. And 86, Braylon Sanders, real deal. Now, they're not going to play a ton, but, man, Ezukanma is the real deal. And I'd have a hard time thinking he doesn't get some real run during the regular season. But, hey, they got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, we know, and, they got Cedric Wilson, who's damn good too. But they look like they got a gem here in the 4th round from that kid.
New coaching staff, too, offensive-minded, so they can open some things up, even maybe without the talent. But they certainly have the talent there.
They definitely have the talent. And the defense, Ahmed. Just another one, a little bit like, I want to say the Jaguars. And they got no Xavier Howard and Byron Jones out there.
Right.
But there's so many good-looking players on their defense. It's scary. I mean, it's scary when you go through it. And I just want to make sure, I'm going to give some love to these guys real quick. And I know we got to get done with this pod here soon. But I want to just hit this real quick. I mean, first off, Wilkerson and Raekwon Davis in the middle, like, good luck moving those guys. Good luck. All right, Jalen Phillips looks like a legit top-tier pass rusher in football off the edge. Then you got a guy like, Emmanuel Ogbah. He's a backup right now. Zach Seiler, who started, all right? And I just want to make – and then, Andrew Van Ginkel. I mean, they got some players. And – Landon Roberts starting a middle linebacker, and then we know that Javon Holland, as safety, to me, is already one of the best safeties in football. So I'm like, they're a team I look at and just go, watch out. Watch out for sure. The only thing I got to see from Tua, as I said to Mike Florio today, when it's 30 miles per hour wind and they got to play up in Buffalo, and they got to play the Patriots in a cold weather game or anything like that, is he going to be able to push the ball and make some throws outside the rhythm of the offense? That's the big thing there. But I think this offense and the way they're going to play is really going to suit him.
Eric Ezukanma.
Okay, I wasn't that far off.
Ezukanma.
I think I kind of said that.
Maybe it's Izukama. Close
Either
enough.
Way, we'll work on it.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
So Tua has got some...
He's got some positive signs. Some positive signs
for Tua
and
there.
He sounds like everything, and he's approaching it like a real professional here now.
So you were positive on Kellen Mond coming out of the draft a couple years ago. Has not had a whole lot of opportunity, but in the preseason he has. We do have some breaking news with the Vikings. Did you see this?
I didn't. Just till right now, I'm seeing it.
The Vikings have traded for Nick Mullens.
Yeah.
So Kelly Craig says, I want to believe in our guy Mond. But what do you make of his second preseason performance? Love the pod. Thank you, Kelly. So, wasn't great. Now they made a trade.
Right.
Is this the beginning of the end?
No, I don't think it is. There's still a lot to like. First off, it shows you that, man, they don't trust him all the way yet. I think that's for sure if they're trading for Nick Mullens. I also think, they were spending the whole week with the 49ers, and I'm sure Kyle Shanahan's praised Nick Mullens. But Nick Mullens, again, is one of those guys where I go, yeah, everybody always talks so great about him, but they can't wait to get him out of the building after a little while. So there's no potential there. It's just, hey, we can trust him for a game or 2 or 3, right? I think that's the biggest thing. But obviously the Raiders are going with Jarrett Stidham as a backup over Nick Mullens. People a little too critical of Mond. I like this from Mond compared to the first game. The first game, he did some good things. This game, I thought he let the ball go and threw some real rifles and threw the ball really well. His first interception, you can't blame Kellen Mond. They couldn't block the 49ers. He's getting ready to throw, and he got people pushed right back into his face, and the ball kind of popped in the air, and he had an interception. So, yeah, that stinks for him. The last interception at the end of the game was a horrible play by him. He threw a floater, stared the receiver down, and never looked the center field safety off. So the safety just ran over there from the start. It was easy pitch and catch. All right. So, obviously with the trade, they're a little worried. But I still see talent from Kellen Mond. But, the 49ers are real. The 49ers second team is in another class than the Vikings second team right now. So I'm not giving up on Kellen Mond. And you know me, I keep it pretty real. If I was really concerned, I would tell you.
Yeah.
I still think there's some positives there. But, they obviously are maybe not totally in the trust tree with him there all the way yet.
And the Vikings didn't give up a whole bunch for Nick Mullens. Pete notes here just a conditional 7th-round pick in 2024 going to the Raiders for Nick Mullens. Maybe just a little insurance there. But you mentioned it already, the 49ers and how they looked, and specifically Javon Kinlaw, which is good to see coming off that knee injury last year. You were high on him coming into the NFL. Got hurt. Didn't really pop before then.
Right.
So this is Kirk Garda says, is it getting a little crowded on Kinlaw Island between the shirtless Kinlaw video walking off the practice field and the Vikings game sack? Everyone's moving in.
They are. I think they're going to continue to move in. He's a freak of nature. And I just would have a hard time if he can stay healthy to think that he's not going to be a huge difference maker for that football team, especially because he's going to see a lot of favorable matchups. You got Eric Armstead. You got Nick Bosa on the edge. So you're not going to be able to double team him, and it's great to see it. The 49ers are another one of those teams where you just go, holy shit, how many killers do they got on the team? They're growing on trees in San Franciscoville, all right? So that's what's really, really encouraging from that standpoint. And, again, there was that's what my point with Mond was. There's a lot of that where it's just like, what do you want him to do? I mean, Kinlaw, 94, Omenyehu, another name we got he's from Texas. He's an alumni with me too. He was a beast in the game. Right, we're making a list. We'll check it twice because we are naughty and not nice.
You
here.
liked what you saw from him?
I do. Yes, I mean they just have so many good players, and yes, they dominated the Vikings offensive line, who did not play their starters, but their backups were not in the class of some of the people that they had to block in San Francisco.
Someone wants to know about the rookies here, too, with the 49ers. Your boy Elroy. Not someone. Why did I call him someone?
Your boy Elroy.
Your boy Elroy is a constant.
Ray.
Oh, Elroy. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, maybe we got two of them. Is there an Elroy? Do we have that guy, too, or is this? I think it's the same man. Your boy Elroy. Coming off, hey, Elroy. Coming off their second NFC Championship game in 3 seasons, is it surprising how much the 49ers rookies are poised to contribute this season? Their first 5 draft picks going to get significant snaps this year.
Yeah, well, Shanahan's got an eye.
They haven't had great drafts in the past.
I know. They got some damn roster right now.
Yes.
They really do. And, I'm not going to lie, I haven't studied Womack all the way yet, okay? So he's one that I'm not going to, just quick look test, looks pretty good. But I haven't, looked at him like I did Buford. And Buford and Aaron Banks at guard, I mean, that's going to be another thing that people don't talk about with the 49ers. Their interior O-line is, I think, got a chance to be better than it's been the last few years, which is scary because we know they can run the ball on just about anybody. So, Buford looks the part. Texas San Antonio, killer, has the body I like. Nobody's going to be a mismatch for him. Excited about all of that, for sure.
All right, so, Pete, what are we at time-wise here?
Let's hit this Packers-Saints thing real quick.
Packers Saints to end it, to finish it right here.
Right.
Our Hail Mary. All right, Packers, you kind of want us to talk specifically Packers defense versus the Saints offense,
correct? Yes, a little bit. Olave looked good, okay? Olave looks skinnier and maybe smaller than I expected in the uniform, but, man, his speed's real, his ability to stick the foot in the ground, the touchdown catch he had, adjusting to that ball, that was not an easy ball to adjust to, was really impressive. So, you put him on the field with Jarvis and Michael Thomas, they got a good 3. Devontae Wyatt, to me, looks like the real deal, too. He can do everything. And I think ultimately he's going to be amazing when he can just worry about one gap and just fly in there because he's going to be disruptive and have issues like that. Then there's the Trevor Penning, the tackle, first rounder, right? Penning, has a great-looking body, is a killer in the run game, and wants to actually, I think, kill you when he is blocking you. Like, he literally wants to be like, you're dead. You no longer exist.
Well, he's wanted to kill his own teammates, correct?
Exactly, right. And he has that attitude. You see it. He's a mauler. But pass protection, okay, I'm more concerned with him than the other guys we talked about, Evan Neal, Ickey Ekwonu, who I know have given up sacks too.
Yeah.
Trevor is getting pushed back, right? The other guys maybe, I stopped my feet, or, oh, man, that guy made a nice move on me and just tricked me. These are like, hey, this guy's coming right at you and you're getting pushed right into the quarterback. It scares me just a little bit. So that's where, there's a little work to be done, but those are things, again, I'm not going to over-evaluate it.
Sure.
I know our man at Thomas Pena want to know about that a little bit.
Hey, you said he looks like he's been a mauler in the run game. You saw the same thing.
Mauler in the run game, no doubt about it.
Needs to work on some of the blocking of the speed rushers is what he knows
exactly.
there.
That's the biggest thing.
You might be Thomas Pena. I think you, Thomas Penna and you might be the same person.
You think so? Yeah, it's my burner account.
Yeah.
But I think that, that hits on it, and I know we got to go because we got other things going on here at NBC.
We got so much going on here at NBC.
Yeah, he's definitely worried about the power rush. And because of that, he stops his seat to brace for that, and then people even went around him too. So again, it's a learning process. I don't know if he'll start the year or not for sure. I think they got James Hurts, the left tackle, if I remember correctly. We'll see where that goes. But there is some positives. But yes, pass protection is going to be still kind of a learning curve for him.
Meaty pod.
Meaty pod.
But
we
about
got a
all
lot
the
of good
storylines
crap in there
in the preseason. We don't want to overemphasize some of this stuff, but it's still football, and it's still, once they hit the field, they're trying to dominate.
And shout out to Tyler Huntley, who balled Isaiah Likely in Baltimore. And the Ravens just come out to kill you all the time. It doesn't matter if it's preseason or not. And that's all I got to say.
No podcast Wednesday because you're going to be in Buffalo.
My boy Blue. Giddy up, Josh Allen.
You're like friends now. You interviewed him last year,
yeah,
right?
Well, that was 3 years ago. Yeah.
No. But I thought like over Zoom or over.
Oh, you're right. I did
right?
before the playoff game. You're
How
right.
do I remember your life?
I don't know. I forgot. It wasn't an in-person meeting. It was a COVID Zoom
call. It was. I know those don't stick with you as much, but yeah, you've done it in person and over Zoom. Now you're back in person again.
I'm excited to go up there and hang out with him for a little bit. And we'll see. I don't know if we're no pod Wednesday, and we're in the works of organizing and seeing if we can get Thursday pod. I hope we can do it, but we'll see where it goes.
I think, it's just there's, like you mentioned, there's a lot going on in this building right now.
There is.
It's good. It's good news.
Yeah. It is good news.
But I'll be here. I'll be sitting at the desk. Whether you're here and there's a control room and Kristen's able to do it, we'll see.
Okay, we'll see. See you there. Yeah. All right, you good? We're good?
I think we're good.
We're good. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the pod. We did our best to kind of hit everything that was major around the NFL. That's preseason week 2 in the books. I know we got a little Falcons-Jets Monday Night Football. Enjoy that. Hopefully I can answer some of those things on Thursday if we do get the pod in. All right, everybody. Be good. Be safe. Peace out. Clap it up.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.